San Diego 6 News at 10. Your station for balanced news.
We saw the fear in the flight attendant's eyes, and they grabbed the fire extinguisher.
Panic on a Delta airliner as a man linked to Al-Qaeda attempts to blow up the plane. And it's 10 in a row. The Chargers blow past the Titans in their first Christmas Day game in 50 years of play.
Out of tragedy, a Merry Christmas. I'm Alex Michelson. How firefighters stepped in to help a local family, coming up.
Good evening, Merry Christmas, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jenny Hamill. Jim Patton and Heather Myers have the night off. Screaming passengers, frazzled crew members, flames and smoke. Just some of what passengers witnessed on board a Northwest flight. An attempted terrorist attack, that's what the White House is calling today's incident. Aboard Flight 253 from Amsterdam to Detroit, administration officials say a Nigerian man identified as Umar Abdul Muttalab set off a small explosion as the plane was about to land. The same source reports the suspect is claiming to have extremist affiliations. He was taken to the hospital for burn injuries related to the incident. There were also minor injuries reported among other passengers on the flight. Cheryl Castro has the story.
Officials in protective gear at Detroit Metro Airport take no chances. Authorities say someone detonated some sort of device aboard a flight from Amsterdam in the Netherlands to Detroit with 278 passengers aboard Friday. A woman whose husband was aboard became alarmed after she says she saw an injured person being detained.
When the ambulance showed up, I'm just thinking maybe somebody collapsed. You know, that happens sometimes. So I really didn't think it was anything major until I seen the handcuffs.
Authorities say the suspect was transported to a local hospital to be treated for burns received from the explosion. The incident caused a holdup at international arrivals, with passengers worrying about loved ones on the Christmas holiday. Dumitru Ionescu says his wife has health problems.
Well, it's not in a very good condition. She's under medication. She's a heart condition right now, so I don't know how good it is. Okay. So she's kind of desperate.
As authorities continue to investigate the incident, President Obama, on vacation in Hawaii, has been briefed and has told Homeland Security to take all necessary steps to safeguard air travel. I'm Cheryl Castro reporting from Atlanta.
And Delta Airlines issued a statement regarding the incident on board Northwest Airlines Flight 253. Delta officials said the following, quote, "The flight operated by Northwest using an Airbus 330-300 aircraft with 278 passengers on board landed safely. The passenger was taken into custody and questioned by law enforcement authorities. Delta is cooperating fully with authorities, and additional questions should be directed to law enforcement officials who are leading the investigation." The attempted terrorist attack on that Northwest flight is on the minds of local travelers. Antonio Castellan joins us live at Lindbergh Field tonight and tells us what travelers are saying. Antonio.
Jenny, today was another busy day here at Lindbergh Field as loved ones arrived home for Christmas. The thought of a terrorist attack was the last thing on their minds, but as they heard about it, they reflected on it as something we all just have to deal with.
We recommend that you keep your luggage and personal belongings in view at all times.
Security at Lindbergh Field remained the same. Travelers went about their business this Christmas as nothing happened.
I think it's too bad somebody has to try and take a holiday like Christmas and turn it into some sort of political stunt.
Greg Dollar just arrived from Tahoe to visit family here in San Diego. Dollar heard about a Nigerian man lighting up an explosive on a Northwest flight in Detroit. He's unfazed from the attempted terrorist attack.
Not really, I guess, you know, what are you going to do?
Government sources claim the suspect may have ties to Al-Qaeda. Andrea Johnson doesn't see this possible terrorist connection as a reason to fear flying again. She just arrived from Cleveland.
Things are going to happen, and I think as long as we can respond appropriately and neutralize and minimize the threat, I think I'm pretty comfortable and will continue to fly.
Right now, the terror alert level is on high. This was elevated all before this incident happened. Security measures are tight as is. Even if they got tighter, Johnson doesn't mind.
I'm confident that the United States government and the security forces will do what is necessary to keep us safe.
Sources close to the case say the suspect had the explosive taped to his leg. The TSA will be reviewing their security measures, and once again, those security procedures could be changed. Reporting live at Lindbergh Field, Antonio Castellan, San Diego 6 News.
Thank you, Antonio. And here is the latest developments of the attempted airline terrorist attack. The Northwest plane was about to land in Detroit from Amsterdam. Flight 253 had 278 passengers on board. The Nigerian man suspected of trying to blow up the plane is being identified as Umar Abdul Muttalib. He allegedly claims to have extremist ties with Al-Qaeda. The suspect suffered burns and is being treated at the hospital. Strict security measures were imposed on air travel, though none were specified. Stay tuned, of course, to San Diego 6 in the morning for the latest information on this incident. A man is dead after his car ran off a freeway and hit a tree near City Heights early this morning. Witnesses say that about 3 a.m. the driver was traveling at about 90 miles an hour heading southbound on Interstate 15 just south of the Interstate 805 connector when his Ford Focus sedan veered off the roadway and collided with a eucalyptus tree. The driver, who was the sole occupant of the vehicle, was pronounced dead at the scene.
It's unfortunate for the victim's family. I know they were expecting him home, or assumed that, and didn't make it.
The coroner's office was working all day to identify the man, at one point only known as a Hispanic male, so they could notify his family. An Otay Mesa man killed after being struck by falling planes has been identified. 55-year-old Alberto Herrera Garcia, a lumber storage yard worker, died on Thursday morning. Herrera Garcia was picking up a load of wood planks when the load shifted off a nearby forklift and fell onto him. Herrera Garcia lived in Ensenada, Mexico with his wife. And tonight, a suspected smuggling boat came ashore in Ocean Beach. Witnesses say about 6 o'clock this morning, the boat with about 30 people on board came into shore. Witnesses also say the group had life vests and took them off once they stepped a foot on sand.
People start climbing out of it, start going up the brick wall. And they didn't make it. They fell back into the water, so they all got out and started going along the walk wall.
Clark says the driver got out and got into a car in the parking lot and drove off. No word tonight on the identity of the group or whether they were illegal immigrants. In other news, it's incredible. 10 in a row, the Chargers delivered Bolt fans the perfect Christmas gift, another victory. The Chargers offense exploded, scoring early and often against the Tennessee Titans down in Nashville tonight. Darren Sproles and LaDainian Tomlinson both scored 2 touchdowns. This was the first time in the Chargers' 50-year history that they played on Christmas Day. The Bolts were victorious over the Titans by a whopping 42-17. And many Chargers fans couldn't wait to watch tonight's big game at area sports bars. About 50 fans watched at Player Sports Bar in Kearney Mesa. All the employees who worked today volunteered to come in and share in the excitement with the fans. While the owner says business was off a bit because the game was on the holiday, it made for something special.
It was a little bit different opening today, but it's still a nice feeling. You know, you stick the key in the door, you open it up, and we had people waiting outside in the parking lot already at 3:30 in their cars for us to open the doors. It was kind of neat.
Pasulka says business has definitely picked up during the Chargers' winning streak. Well, it's the Christmas surprise no family wants. Your home goes up in flames days before the holiday, but as Alex Michelson reports, the community came together to ensure a Merry Christmas for an Encano family nonetheless.
It was pretty much engulfed in flames when we got here.
I lost my house, so I think God gave me so bad.
On Wednesday night, a family's home of nearly 30 years became only a memory.
Everything's pretty much gone. The kids' stuff is gone. They have nothing.
Among the items lost, the Christmas tree and all the kids' presents. But firefighters simply wouldn't accept that.
We got a call from one of Santa's helpers. Said this family lost their gifts. All it took was one phone call, and less than 24 hours, we're here with gifts to give to the children for their Christmas.
We want you to not be without a little Christmas, so here it is.
The 3 kids were truly given the royal treatment.
Here's your crown.
The same exact man who fought Wednesday's fire served as the day's elves.
Hopefully we can bring some light to the family's Christmas day and bring some happiness to this situation.
Who likes music? You, hon?
A generosity this family didn't know existed.
People do care. I don't know. Sorry, it's really emotional for me.
How does that make you feel to have that?
Glad, happy.
Happy. So it turns out to be a happy Christmas.
Yeah.
Their simple message for firefighters?
Thank you.
They're all yours. In Encanto, Alex Michelson, San Diego 6 News.
All right, thanks, Alex. Well, the family hopes to rebuild their home. A preliminary investigation shows the water heater likely sparked that fire. Damage is estimated at over $700,000. Well, dreams do live on, and hundreds of smiles on children's faces prove that in National City this Christmas. Nearly 200 kids had a bright Christmas receiving bikes thanks to Frank King's Dreaming Live On. He began the charity Christmas with Kids nearly 40 years ago when he learned his next-door neighbor had no money to buy toys for her kids. The tradition of giving grew and grew year after year, but just days before Christmas last year, Frank passed away. Now nearly 50 of his friends are keeping his dream of giving toys and bikes for needy kids alive. His wife is so touched by the outpouring of support.
And this is keeping my husband's dream alive. This was his dream, is to have this. He wanted to spread out through all the United States so people would help each other.
Mrs. King thanks everyone who donated bikes and toys this year. She hopes more gifts can be raised next year. Santa Claus and his elves helped make the holiday merry at Golden Hall downtown. Volunteers served a traditional turkey dinner with all the trimmings to 2,000 people at the Salvation Army's annual Christmas dinner. 400 more people attended this year over last, some waiting in line for hours. This year, kettle donations and toy donations, unfortunately, were down significantly, forcing the Salvation Army to pull from its reserve fund to make it all happen.
The crowd has changed from just the homeless, that are the alcoholics, to just more families.
They're finding that it's difficult to cope in this economy because rent hasn't gone down, utilities haven't gone down, living expenses haven't gone down, but resources are no longer available.
Santa had 1,000 toys to hand out to the kids. The Salvation Army's Central Kitchen prepares 800 meals every day for San Diego seniors. A local hospital brings plenty of comfort and cheer to family members visiting loved ones this holiday. It's coming up. And next, much of the Midwest is buried in a winter wonderland. Record snowfall is making holiday travel pretty treacherous. Plus, a California grandmother sends letters of love, how it makes the holiday extra special for our troops overseas. And it isn't a Merry Christmas for actor Charlie Sheen. Find out why he's in trouble with the law once again.
And I'm meteorologist Aloha Taylor. It may not have been a white Christmas for us here, but sunny and warm. There are some changes ahead. We'll talk about that coming up in weather. I'll see you back then. First, current conditions. Downtown Limberfield coming in the 50s, and we're at 46 in Kearney Mesa.